everyone, welcome back to Richard's Tech Tutorials. So in this episode we're going to be looking at GraphQL and how we can use GraphQL to build a particular interface to our table and use it to update the data in that table. Now in the last episode we used a generic control that we passed in a field name equals a value, which is fine, but if we start passing in any parameter, any values in our note like equals sign for example, what happens is it doesn't work. It won't update the table, it just leaves it blank. So what we need to do is we need to find a better way to update that data. Now there's nothing wrong with using the global control. That works fine if you're passing in sysids or short descriptions that don't contain any kind of special characters. So feel free to use that, but if you come across a scenario where you need to use something else, then this is another way forward. Right, so what we need to do then is create a GraphQL data source. So we can do that. I've already got it open here, but if you go to and type in GraphQL, so under Now Experience Framework, Data Management and GraphQL Queries, so you see it here, I've started it for myself. If you go into that, that'll open up the window that we've got here. So first thing we need to do is we need to create a new GraphQL query. So I've done it already here. So I just click on that, it'll open it up for us. So here we have the GraphQL query. So it's got some properties in the query itself. You can have a script in here or a query. I'm just going to stick with query. So the first thing we need to do, give it a name. We're going to say it mutates server data. In other words, it's going to write data to the database. And we're going to pass in some properties. Now, because we're creating a new note here, we're not so worried about passing things like a sysid. We're literally just going to pass the note. So I've got it here. I've got name, note, label, so the new note that we're going to pass in, description, it's a string, and it's mandatory because we don't want to pass in a blank field. Now the query itself is we're going to do a mutation, as we've said. We're passing in the parameter of note of type string, so that note will get passed into here, and we're going to do glide record mutation, and we're going to insert, so it's insert, as you see here, insert and then underscore and the name of the table, and then the various different fields that we're passing in. So the note field, so this is the field name that's in your table definition, and the parameter and the variable that we're going to be passing in. And then what it's going to do is return the sysid value as part of that. So you create that first, and then what you do is you update that, and then what you do is you come back to your UI Builder. What I suggest you do is refresh the UI Builder just in case, because sometimes it doesn't always come through. And what we're going to do now is we're going to add a new data control. So if we come in here, we will get rid of this one eventually, but for now we're going to add. And if you scroll down to your notes application, you should see it listed in here. See, here's my one, my note app, insert new note. So that's the GraphQL query that we just created. So we're going to add that. So we'll just hit add. Okay, so we've inserted that now. So now what we need to do is we now need to use that as part of our script. So we're going to just simply change the client script. We don't need to pass in this constant anymore. So let's get rid of all of that for now. And we're simply going to pass in. So let me show you what we need to do. So I'm going to create another constant again. So this time, remember from the parameters that we set up at the GraphQL query, I'm just passing in note. Okay, so we're just passing in note, and then we're just going to pass in the state parameter. So we're literally just passing that data in. And then what we're going to do, I like to add things to console, especially when I'm debugging, is we're going to simply put in the stringify new record as we did before. But now we're going to execute our new data control. Now, what I want to do, I will just want to change the name of it. So it's going to be insert new note. I don't want the one on there, so let's just change that. So what we're going to do, we come back to our script. Quite simply, as we did before, api.data.insert new note. So just to make sure we've got that correct. So insert new note. Yep, insert new note. we want to execute that, and we're going to pass in our new record data source. So it's literally going to execute that data, and we're going to pass in what we need to pass in. So we can save that. Now, just to make sure that we're not using the old one, I'm going to get rid of the one from before. Let's just delete that off. So we've only got our new GraphQL data source in the system. So let's just save that again. I like to save many times. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open. So it's going to load the page. So we've got our one from the last episode. So a new note using the GraphQL data. Well, it's not really a data source, is it? Data. I'll call it broker for the sake of argument. So we're going to hit that, hit refresh, and now that's gone in. Now, the beauty of using this, if I put the equal sign in here, let's add a new note, refresh that. Now it shows up strangely here, but if we come and have a look at the actual note itself, so it's the last one we've just added, it will come through fine. Now if we tried to do that with the previous method, we wouldn't get that data coming in. So there we go. So that's all great, but what we would really like to happen is when we hit that button, we want some sort of acknowledgement that it's happened. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to create the little notification pop-ups that you see in a lot of the applications. So if we go back to Studio and we come back to our scripts, now you can find a lot of this information in the developer tooling or on the community's website, so please go and have a look there. But what we're going to do, and I'm going to copy this in, is after we've executed that, I'll just paste that in. So we're going to do an emit, and we're going to execute the add notifications. We're going to call it alert 1. It's a positive alert, so it's going to come up as green, and we're going to have a little icon on there, and your note has been saved, and a little acknowledgement next to it. So if we now save that, I'm just going to close the old one that we had down because I want to force it to reload. And we're now going to open the URL again. So new note with notification. And let's press the button. And there we go. We now get a nice little notification. Your note has been saved. Great. We hit refresh. There we go. New note with notification. Well, there you go. We've done quite a few things here. We've added a new data source. We've also put in some notifications into our app. And as you can see, we've built out quite a nice little note-taking application. So please come back for more episodes. Like and subscribe. Please leave some comments. I will upload some more notifications. And if you haven't done so already, have a look at the RPA bot videos that I've started to upload. I'm going to be adding some more to that as well. So thanks, everybody. I'll see you all soon.